Welcome back to Operation Throw-Up Bearing. If you remember the last episode, we had problems taking out the drive shaft, then we had problems taking out the exhaust, and then we had problems taking out the transmission bolts. Hopefully today things go a little smoother. The plan is, at the least, I'd like to take everything out and get the parts replaced. Ideally, I would start putting it back together as well. I mean, I suppose ideally I would get it all back together, but I'm not counting on that because the exhaust clamps haven't shown up yet, so even if I did, I can't drive it. So here's to hoping today goes a little bit smoother, and let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to put the jack here under the transmission cross member, and I'm going to undo the rest of these bolts in the front, and then I'm going to take these out. And hopefully, in not too rough a fashion, pull this out with on the jack, and then let it down slowly with the jack. We'll see how it goes. I watched a YouTube video of a dude getting one from a junkyard, and he just like shook the whole thing and wrestled it out, and it was like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's like, I mean, it was a junkyard, and he only wanted the transmission, but still. Look rough. Why don't I get these wires out of here? Speedo cable and this wire, whatever that's for. Well, I imagine it's the sending unit for the Speedo. Oh no, because it uses the cable for the Speedo. I don't know what that is. Okay. And go put you guys over here. And get the jack under here. Same size. Okay. Now all the bolts are out of there. I've taken, hopefully, enough pressure off of here. Maybe not. I can just bang these out. Maybe not. Maybe they need to go up. It needs to get a little bit higher. So let's give the jack a little half pump. So now in theory, the transmission is out. We just gotta lower this a little, start pulling it back, support the front, and let the whole thing down. I'm gonna get a jack stand to try to help me, just in case. And put it like here, in front of the jack, so it doesn't, fall on me. Okay, I'm going to reposition the jack because it's only coming down on that side. I'm going to move it closer to this side. Because I need it to clear these brackets before I can start pulling it back, obviously. Now, how do I get this out of here? Well, that was fun. I'm going to take a little break, get some water, and then we'll tackle that bell housing. Alright, got the transmission out, and I can already tell you that I know what the problem is. is ow. Because the arm here does not appear to even be attached to the pivot stud. So that would explain a lot. I think it's actually kind of a miracle it didn't fail completely. So that's exciting. But for now, we're gonna take out the starter and just rest it on the subframe. Then we're gonna take these two out, and then we're gonna go all the way around the outside. There's 6 of them. Then we're gonna take this off. Once we take this off, we'll finally be able to replace parts and start planning putting everything back together. Probably clean some of this up a bit because it's a little dirty, but yeah, good times. I think the first thing I'm going to do is zip tie these wires out of my way, since I just got hit in the face a couple of times with them. So the top ones are shorter than the ones on the side, so I'm trying to keep them in order over here. I'm gonna consult the internet really quick and make sure that I don't have to like take this off somehow before I just start yanking on it and damaging it. So I will be right back. Okay, so there is a pin right here, but as far as I can tell, and as far as the internet will tell me, it is just a pin. So I'm gonna squirt some WD-40 on it, and I'm gonna pry it off since it won't go. Just for fun, we're not going to replace the clutch because the clutch engages fine, but I want to at least take a quick look at it. The springs all look good. I mean, there's a little tiny bit of wear, but they all look good. No missing teeth or anything on the flywheel. All the engagement surfaces look fine. They're just a little dirty, but that is okay. Okay. Now, we can finally get out of here and start working on the bell housing. Well, here's our bell housing. And here is our completely destroyed throwout bearing. Here's another piece of it. That's supposed to be on there like that with some ball bearings, and it is not. So I guess I'm extremely glad that we did this. And also you can see the pivot stud here is pretty raw. It's not deformed, but I'm going to replace it anyway. So I can yet again thank my lovely wife, who was like, just buy the parts. Even if you don't need it, you put it on a shelf, you might need it later. Turns out we need it now, so that's exciting. Now I'm going to clear out some space on the workbench so that we can change these parts. Alright, now we're trying to get the pivot stud out, and I split another glove. Gotcha. Okay, lock washer. Hopefully the new one comes with a lock washer. Yeah, I guess this one doesn't really look damaged. It just looks... no, actually, there's a bit of a lip here. So maybe it has been a little worn unevenly. Alright. Now I guess I gotta figure out how I'm gonna torque this, because I couldn't get a socket over it because it's too tall. So this is our new stud. So it looks like it does not come with a lock washer. So I'll be reusing this one. It looks fine. I mean, it still separates, so. Oh yeah. Actually, if you look at these side by side, this one looks pretty round and this one looks not so round. But they are the same size, so cool. Actually, I'm gonna pause you again and look up if this needs like Loctite or anything like that. Because obviously, if it does, I need to put it on there. So the internet just says tighten it down. So I'm just gonna tighten it down as tight as it'll go. And I put the lock washer back on it, so it shouldn't be backing out anyway. But I'm not gonna put any Loctite on it. Now actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some brake cleaner and I'm going to clean the surfaces of this thing, and then I need to start greasing stuff. So before I make it greasy, I want to make it clean so it doesn't just collect all of that nastiness. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's not. I mean, you can see bare metal in most of it. So now I'm going to clean the mounting surface. So when I put it back on, I can get a nice clean mount. And I'm going to try and do that on the block as well before I put this back on. I guess this thing doesn't directly touch the block, the mounting plate, which I guess I could take off and clean it on the bench. That would be easier. Alright, I'm going to give this thing a minute to dry off, grab the spacer plate, give that a cleaning as well. I lied, you can't get the plate off without taking the clutch off, and I'm not doing that. So I'm going to change my gloves so I don't contaminate the grease with brake cleaner and start assembling things. Okay, brake taken. I got some grease. I'm going to grease starting with the pivot ball. Put a little grease on that there guy all the way around it, which you probably can't see. Putting a little film of grease all the way around the stud. We're going to grab our new arm. Oh, that's nice. It comes pre-greased for the ball. So we're just gonna put some grease in here, which retains the throwout bearing. Oh, the clutch part is already greased too. And that's nice. This part also touches the throwout bearing, so we're going to put a nice little light bit of grease on there. And that goes out there. Actually, I should put the throwout bearing on first. Alright. So this is what a throwout bearing is supposed to look like. This head is supposed to... oh, there's a bunch of grease in here already. Cool. The head is supposed to be on there. But now, of course, I don't remember if this goes this way or this way. So, hang on a minute. I'm going to consult the internet again. Okay. It goes like this. And then my bearing goes like this. And then it goes like this. That doesn't seem right. Does it go like this? I think it goes like that. And then this goes out there. And then this slides on there. Okay. Now I'm going to double check everything to make sure I don't screw this up. Because I really don't want to do this all again in the course of a week. Okay. I think that's properly installed. It said put a thin film of grease on the surface here. It said make sure the bearing goes over the fingers and the teardrop points this way, which it does. And then make sure this is installed right, which it does appear to be. Okay. Well, that was exciting. I think we are just about ready to shove this sucker back in. So I guess this is where we'll start. The bell housing goes in first, then the transmission goes in, then the exhaust goes back in. Then, well, I guess it doesn't matter if the exhaust goes back in first or if the drive shaft goes back in first. So I'll do the drive shaft first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves with how, poorly I did taking it out. Let's get back under the car and reinstall this and go from there. Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking the game plan might be get some food, rest up a bit, and then maybe tackle the transmission part tomorrow, or maybe later tonight. We'll see how I'm feeling.